Which of the following will most likely lead to a decrease in inflationary expectations? So, in this question, we're asked to identify the following option that will lead to a decrease in inflationary expectations. So, to answer this question, first we need to draw an aggregate demand and aggregate supply model. So, for this model, the y-axis represents the price level, which is abbreviated as PL, and the x-axis represents real GDP, which is abbreviated as RGDP. And for the model, there are two sloping curves. One of them is upward sloping, and the other one is downward sloping. The downward sloping curve represents the aggregate demand, and the upward sloping curve represents the short-run aggregate supply. So, option A says a decrease in the marginal propensity to save. So, this is incorrect because the decrease in a marginal propensity to save means that there would be an increase in the marginal propensity to consume. So an increase in the marginal propensity to consume means that consumption spending will increase. And because consumption spending is a factor in the aggregate demand, this would lead to a shift right in the aggregate demand. And a shift right in the aggregate demand would lead to this curve here. And therefore, this would lead to an increase in the price level, because the price level was originally here, now it's up here. So this would not lead to a decrease in inflationary expectations because the price level has increased. So option A can be eliminated. B, a decrease in imports. This is incorrect for the same reason as A, because a decrease in imports means that net exports, which is exports minus imports, increases, because imports has decreased. And because net exports has increased, then the aggregate demand will also increase, and this will also result in a shift right in the aggregate demand curve, and likewise a similar increase in the price level and an increase in the inflationary expectations. So B can also be eliminated. C, a decrease in the money supply. So to analyze this, we need to draw another curve, which is the money market curve. For this curve, the x-axis represents the quantity of money, which is abbreviated as Q of M, and the y-axis represents the interest rate, which will represent as IR. And there are two curves on this, the downward sloping curve representing the demand for money, and the vertical line representing the supply of money. And here it says that it will be a decrease in the money supply, so this would result in a shift of the money supply to the left, and we'll label this as MS2. And this would result in an increase in the interest rate, because originally the interest rate was right here, but now it's up here. So an increase in the interest rate means that investment spending will decrease because less loans will be taken out to invest because of the higher interest rates. Because there's a decrease in the investments, then AD will decrease because investment spending is a part of the aggregate demand. So this will result in a shift left of the aggregate demand. So this will be this curve, AD2, and the price level will decrease, and a decrease in the price level represents a decrease in inflationary expectations. Therefore, C is the correct answer. But let's consider the other options first. D, an increase in the government budget deficit. This is incorrect because this would not influence any of these curves, it would influence some other curve, which is unrelated to the following answers, or the following question. So D can be eliminated. E, an increase in the prices of raw materials. This is incorrect because this would influence the short-run aggregate supply curve by shifting this curve to the left. And if we shifted this curve to the left, it would move all the way up here, and then this would be SRAS2. And as we can see, the price level would be up here, which is an increase in the price level or an increase in the inflationary expectations, which is not what we're looking for. So we can eliminate E as well. And therefore, the correct answer must be C.